Now I'll introduce Dr. Laura Kaur. She is currently working as a research fellow in the World Fish Center, Penang. She received a master in aquaculture from University of Malaysia, Sabah. She then served as a quality control manager at a private aquaculture company in Malaysia for 11 years before joining her current organization. Laura has interest in aquatic animal health. Her topic of presentation is description of fish epidemiology and health economics survey tool for performance and risk factor assessment. Now I request to play the presentation of Laura Kaur, please.
Good day, everyone. My name is Laura Kaur. I am a research fellow from World Fish, and I'm here to present to you a description of a fish epidemiology and health economics survey tool for performance and risk factor assessment. Among the many problems we face in fish disease control efforts is the lack of baseline data on current health status, practices, economics of losses, and risk factors in farms. There is a difficulty in getting remote farmers to provide data and to report outbreaks to the authorities. And the methods of gathering, compiling, and analyzing data is so time consuming that it has led to late follow-up investigations into disease events. Finally, there is a lack of supporting data to develop aquatic animal health management policies. So how do we improve our response to disease outbreaks? First, we need baseline data to understand the farming systems and the status of fish health within a region. We need an efficient method of collating this data from remote farms using readily available devices owned by extension officers and service providers to gather this information. So for this purpose, we have developed a baseline survey tool for easy data collection, immediate delivery of this information to the authorities so that they can provide a quick response and use this data for future disease management. The tool is called the Fish Epidemiology and Health Economics Survey Tool, and it consists of 3 elements, which is the survey questionnaire, the Kobo Toolbox online platform where the survey is stored, and the ODK Collect mobile app for accessing the survey on mobile devices. The questionnaire is a cross-sectional survey which comprises of the sections shown here. Sections A to D begin with the enumerated details and farmer consents. Sections E to R covers farm production, fish stocking and feeding, farm biosecurity and disease prevention, treatments, mortality of farmed and wild fish, and the economics for baseline and unusual mortality. Sections T to U are for providing additional important information that might not have been captured earlier and allows users to submit photos and GPS location from the survey site. As mentioned earlier, ODK is one of the 3 elements that make up the survey tool. So what is ODK Collect mobile app? It is an Android mobile app used to download the survey form from Kobo Toolbox platform and to collect survey data. And it can be used without internet in remote farm areas. This data can then be uploaded later when the user moves into an internet accessible area. This is how the app looks like on Google Play Store. And what about Kobo Toolbox? Kobo Toolbox is an online platform which is made of open source software by the Harvard Humanitarian Initiative to compile field data and to monitor their responses. Users can use their Kobo Toolbox account as a central system to compile and download survey data submitted from mobile devices and also to deploy the survey to other account holders. You can use the link shown here to log in or to create an account. To begin to use a survey on Kobo Toolbox, first, you need to sign up for an account and to log into the platform. In order to create the survey project online, an XLS file, which is used to write the questionnaire code, is uploaded to the account. Once uploaded, the survey can then be deployed to mobile devices used for the survey. The deployed survey can also be visualized using a web link obtained from the Kobo dashboard. For a view of the survey questionnaire, you may use the link provided here. The uploaded survey can also be shared to other Kobo account holders, for example, in the case where a research team wants to work with the fisheries department, while providing different access levels such as viewing and editing permissions. Once the survey has been deployed from Kobo Toolbox, the survey will then be ready for use in the field. However, before collecting any survey data, the end users, such as extension officers, will still need to download and install ODK from Google Play Store onto their mobile device. Users will then need to connect the ODK app on their mobiles to the specific Kobo Toolbox account holding the survey questionnaire by adjusting the app server settings, which means keying in the account URL, username, and password. If you would like to do a test connection of your mobile device to an existing demo Kobo account, you may key in the details shown here. Once connected, the user can select and download the survey questionnaire onto the mobile device. It is important to note that up to this point, internet connection is required. Only after the form has been downloaded can the user move into remote farm areas to begin collection of survey data. To open a survey form and begin data entry, the user can choose the downloaded form and begin navigating the questionnaire. The screenshot here shows how the survey tool looks like on a mobile device. Most questions are directly visible, but some parts are repeated group questions, which are a set of questions appearing for every selection of a fish species, for example. Users can use their mobiles to capture the GPS location of the survey site, provided they have GPS enabled. They can also submit survey photos, either by capturing those directly using their mobile device camera or by choosing from their gallery. Users who have partially filled their survey forms can save those as drafts offline to their mobile device storage. Once completed, users can then wait until internet connection is available to submit their completed survey entries to the connected Kobo account. After submission, the survey data will then be backed up in the Kobo Toolbox account. In order to gain access to the survey data that was submitted, users will need to log in to their Kobo account and to select the name of the survey project. Users can then download the survey submissions in the form of an XLS data file. In the example XLS data file shown in the screenshot, there is a row for every survey submission and a column for each question in the survey. Users can also download submitted survey photos by selecting media attachments. Downloaded photos will be grouped according to universal unique identifiers that are also listed in the XLS data file for every survey submission. To visualize the survey data responses on Kobo Toolbox dashboard, users can choose the reporting style using different types of charts. In the Kobo Toolbox report, users will be able to see the frequency and percentages of survey data in the form of tables and charts. Default or customized reports produced from the dashboard can then be saved or printed for use as a summary of survey responses. Kobo Toolbox also provides a map feature whereby the frequency of disaggregate data can be shown by location. Here is a scenario which demonstrates the use and application of the survey tool. In the first instance, an extension worker interviews a farmer in a baseline survey. The interview data is keyed into the mobile device and later submitted to the account managed by the authorities or animal health advisors. For farms with suspected outbreaks, investigators can be sent to collect samples and further information which can be used to facilitate diagnostics later on. The compiled survey data is then analyzed by the authorities to gain some insight on the current health status, performance, and risk factors. Survey findings can then be used to draft best management practices with stakeholders in focus group discussions and be used as scientific evidence to back national strategies and investments in aquatic animal health management. Finally, advisors can provide farmers with recommendations for targeted control measures to reduce mortalities and to improve management of disease. The baseline survey tool, which was initially developed by Wolfish and the Norwegian Veterinary Institute, has been used to collect data from 550 farms in Bangladesh, more than 110 farms in Egypt, and 399 farms in Nigeria. There are plans to apply in Ghana and Kenya for upcoming projects. The survey tool and its accompanying resources have been described by Wolfish in a package of practices for fish epidemiology and health economics. The key resources listed in this POP include the tool itself, an online course and guidelines for users looking to apply digital surveys in aquaculture. The online course, which is called Aquaculture Surveys with ODK, is built on Learning, which is a learning digital platform designed for use on low-end mobile devices. The course provides guidance on how to carry out an aquaculture survey using the survey tool on ODK Collect mobile app and consists of the pre-modules shown here. Users can access the course by registering using their mobile number. The following printable guidelines are also provided for users who are looking to collect data, to manage survey data, and to train enumerators for digital surveys in aquaculture. And that is all for my presentation today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura, for the excellent presentation and explaining the survey toolbox in a very, very simplified way. And we should thankful to the World Fish for this excellent efforts. Yeah, there are no questions in the chat box, and I have just a small question. Like, can you just say how much time it takes to complete one survey with the farmers?
Hi, thanks for the question. So for this fish epidemiology and health economic survey tool, it is meant to be a baseline survey, cross-sectional survey. So we will be asking a lot of questions, and in average, it takes about 1.5 hours for this survey tool, because it is meant for a cross-sectional survey. However, we do have another tool which is much shorter, but that is meant for reporting purposes. For example, if a farmer may be outside of your survey zone, or who is in a different area wants to report a fish mortality event, they can use that reporting tool, and that takes I think less than 10 minutes to answer. But this one takes about 90 minutes on average.
Yeah, because we see in the field, we'll interview farmers more than 10-15 minutes. It's very difficult to keep their interest continuing.
Yes, that's why before we have guidelines on how to conduct a survey, and it's recommended that we actually contact the farmers and tell them roughly how much time we'll be spending with them and what is the purpose of this survey, so that they understand that for spending their amount of time with us, we can actually give a good amount of feedback to them based on their contribution to the questionnaire.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I can share my experience. We had a epidemiology project where Professor Kenton was part of it. So similar way, we used to take the appointment, almost 45 to 1 hour it takes to complete a questionnaire. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's nice to know that it's being used by many of the countries. Yeah, there's just a question from Yuko Hodo. What kind of strategy to make farmers join the survey and this project?
Okay, as mentioned before, we have a list of farmers, and we actually have to contact them ahead of time to get their agreement to participate in this survey, and we tell them when we will come. And before we even start the survey, there is one section of that survey tool where we begin with a consent form. So we will read out the entire consent form, telling them that we will be collecting this information, and we understand that it's confidential, but in case of any future publications, we will not reveal the farm name, who has basically contributed to this. So we are basically ensuring their confidentiality, but we also will be providing feedback to them at the end of our study in the form of guidelines. So for example, from the information we collect regarding the risk factors at their farm, we will be basically having focus group discussions with these same set of farmers, and responding to any of questions they might have, and maybe providing a draft of guidelines which advises them on what are the best practices to apply. So with that understanding, they provide us an agreement ahead of time to actually join the survey. And if at any time they choose to opt out of the survey, due to their own reasons, they can also do so.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
There's a question from Dr. KB from Singapore. Are the farmers reluctant to state that their fish are sick or that they're having issues that, if revealed, may lead to them losing their farm license?
Okay, so it's a very good question. Thank you for that. For this purpose, we actually do. We are an NGO, so we do state to them that their information will be confidential. And although we have experienced some farmers, who may be reluctant to give that information, we have to. It's based on trust as well. We have to gain their trust and tell them that, look, we are doing this. We are not going to penalize you. This is not meant to find any faults with your farm, but this is meant for us to help to understand what's happening at the farm, what is causing the disease. Because the less information they give us, the less we can actually give accurate feedback about your farm. So I'm sure that probably are some instances where they might not be willing to reveal everything, but we work with enumerators on the ground, local enumerators, and also in the instance of one of our projects in Nigeria, they have actually worked with resident vets who actually maintain their contact with the farmer and gain their trust over time. So in this instance, this kind of tool is more suitable to be used with extension officers who are already on ground and who maintain constant contact with the farmer, so that the farmer doesn't feel reluctant to reveal this kind of information to strangers.
Yeah. Question, like from our experience, we see when we ask about the economics, always the farmer has apprehension, that's how much real income. So whether you face similar difficulties when you ask the economics particularly, because that leads to their profit and the income tax and others, whether you face this type of problem in the field?
So far, I've not come across any issues with them being reluctant to reveal that information, mostly because this tool is focused on the economics of their losses. So we ask them things like, based on your last production cycle, what was the farm gate price of your fish? So that we can, per kilo, so that we can more or less estimate what they lost. So those kind of questions, I think they are not too, they don't mind revealing to us.
Okay. Yeah, another question, just like how much time it takes to collect the information and passing the risk factors and the information getting back? How much time generally takes for you to reach to the farmers back?
Okay, good question. Basically, it depends on how much analysis needs to be done and also how long the sampling time is. In the instance of our project in Nigeria, again, we actually needed to sample fish across 2 seasons, dry season and rainy season. So we would only be able to come back to them after we've completed some sampling across those 2 seasons, and we have comparative data. So it very much depends. If your cross-sectional survey actually is just one time, then as long as your analysis is done fast, I think we can get back to the farmers pretty quick. But again, this feedback that we are giving is not actually real feedback until we engage in a focus group discussion with the farmers, because we are only getting data. It is important to actually get more feedback from the farmers on what is the actual situation on ground before we issue out provide any draft guidelines. So this is what we are working towards.
Yeah, thank you so much for the excellent work, and really it is appreciated. Thank you so much again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.